Welcome, everyone, to a Monday morning episode of the Call Sheet Podcast here at the Fans First Sports Network. Kevin Smith with you to recap what was absolutely the most bonkers, exciting, drama-filled weekend of the NFL season. It wasn't just the weekend. It actually started on Thursday, and we got ridiculous endings and exciting football games on Thursday, on Saturday, on Sunday. We had a less exciting college football playoff kickoff as well. Plenty of football to talk about here on our Game Balls episode. And let's dive right in. Let's get right to it with those fantastic finishes. Game ball number one, final plays. Game ball to some of the most thrilling and even ridiculous final plays or final sequences of football games I've ever seen, beginning with the Thursday night game. We knew Seattle and the Rams was going to be a great game. That game was for first place in the NFC West, but also first place within the conference. The winner would be in the driver's seat for the number one overall seed, the first round bye, all that good stuff. And man, that game did not disappoint. Seattle wins 38-37 in overtime. The Rams get the ball to begin overtime, go right down the field, score on a long pass from Matthew Stafford to Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua, by the way, racks up over 220 receiving yards in that contest, continues to remind us that he's the best wide receiver in football that nobody calls the best wide receiver in football. A lot of debate about, hey, is it Justin Jefferson? Is it Jamar Chase? But Puka Nacua, on a weekly basis, continues to show us that there's a strong argument he's that guy. Rams score, kick the extra point, go up 37-30. Seattle gets the ball. They come down the field, and they score a touchdown of their own, and then go for two. What do they dial up for the 2-point play? You know, the 2-point play is a fascinating conversation among a coaching staff because you have this sort of classic debate when you go for two. Do we do what we do? Do we just find a play that we run on a regular basis and we know we can execute well and run that? Or do we prepare something special? Some teams have 2-point plays that they practice solely for the purpose of using them in those situations. Could be a gadgety thing. Right? Every once in a while, you'll see teams, they'll get into, like they'll put a running back in the wildcat at quarterback and he'll run the ball, but wind up throwing it. You get Philly special that the Eagles famously ran for 2 in the Super Bowl. Other teams are just like, look, man, we're going to do what we do. And that's what Seattle did. They said, let's go to a core concept. And they dialed up mesh, which is in every playbook of every major college program, NFL team, most high schools, all throughout America. But they put a little wrinkle on it because they delayed the backside tight end, so he didn't release right away. And that delay caused 2 Rams defenders to run with the high cross. And here came the low cross from the opposite side. Sam Darnold finds him. Seattle walks it off 38-37. Unbelievable game. Then we get to Saturday night. Now the ending of the Seattle Rams game was thrilling. It was one of those whoever's got the ball last is going to win endings. The ending of Chicago Green Bay was as improbable as could possibly occur. I mean, the Bears score with about a minute left to pull within 3 points. And then they have to execute an onside kick and go down and actually to pull within, I should say, 8 points. Then they have to go down the field, score a touchdown, and get a 2-point conversion. And at that moment, a graphic popped up on the screen that said they had an 8% chance to recover the onside kick and a 0.05% chance to actually win the football game. And of course, that's what they then went and did. The Bears recover the onside kick, score on a fourth down play where Green Bay decides to all out blitz Caleb Williams. The Bears get into an empty set, so they only have 5 blockers with 5 receivers out in the formation, and Green Bay brings 6. Green Bay basically says, we will lock you down in cover 0, and we're going to bring 1 more than you can block. And Caleb Williams, he does exactly what you're coached to do in that situation. In that situation, when you know there's 6 coming and you can only block 5, the quarterback is taught to retreat and drift away from the edge rusher to his offhand side. So Caleb Williams is right-handed. That means he's going to drift away from the edge rusher to his left. That's where you can buy yourself the most amount of time. Can't block that guy with a body, so block him with your drop. And that's what he does. He drifts away to his right and is able to loft up a throw to the back of the end zone to a guy who had just been signed off of the practice squad, just been elevated off the practice squad. And then you go to overtime, and the Bears hit a big one to DJ Moore for a walk-off win. So from a 0.05% chance of winning, the Bears win and now take over first place in the NFC North. And if that ending was improbable, then the ending of Sunday's Pittsburgh Steelers game against the Detroit Lions was improbable and impossible and just downright ridiculous. I've never seen a play like this. 29-24 Steelers. 8 seconds left. Detroit, 4th and goal on the Pittsburgh 9. A stop for the Steelers wins them the game. A touchdown or a conversion here wins Detroit the game. Both teams 8-6. Both teams fighting for their playoff life. Jared Goff drops the pass. He hits Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 1-yard line on a little stick move. Flags go flying as Amon-Ra St. Brown catches the ball. So something's up. You know something's up. The flags are at the goal line. You're thinking DPI, but just to the eye watching the game, it didn't really look like DPI. So you see the flags go, 2 of them, and you're like, what's happening here? St. Brown catches the ball at the 1-yard line. 2 Steelers defenders, Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter, rally down and tackle him and keep him out of the end zone. But as they're driving him back as he's falling to the ground, before he hits the ground, St. Brown flips a lateral to quarterback Jared Goff, who's kind of chasing the play. And a couple of sort of stunned Steelers defenders are just watching Goff. He catches the ball and then rumbles into the end zone. Okay, what just happened? Is it a touchdown? Was St. Brown on the ground? Who's the penalty on? Who won the game? The officials literally gathered for over 3 minutes. That's a long gathering. 3 minutes in that moment is an eternity. And the first words out of the mouth of the head referee as he addresses the crowd, Detroit did score a touchdown. Crowd goes nuts. However, the penalty was offensive pass interference. That nullifies the touchdown. And with no time remaining, a penalty on the offense ends the game. The game is over. Pittsburgh wins. Utter chaos, man. The OPI. There's no way I can say this and not sound like a homer and a Steelers fan, but it was a legit call. I mean, St. Brown runs right into Jalen Ramsey, who's squatting at the goal line, and just shoves him to buy himself time. If you want to go back 2 plays earlier, another offensive pass interference call wiped out a Detroit touchdown on a pick play. That one's a little more debatable, but they had called the same OPI on a Steelers touchdown earlier in the game that had taken that away. So the officials heavily involved in some controversial calls. But man, what just what unbelievable endings. I love football. I love football. It's the greatest game on the planet. It's the most physically challenging. It's the one that has, I think, the most fascinating strategy, but it also provides us moments like these. Amazing endings. Game ball number 2. Speaking of the Steelers, we got to give one to Mike Tomlin, who with the win, the 9th win of the season for the Steelers, Mike Tomlin ensured that Pittsburgh would have yet another non-losing season, 22 seasons in a row as a franchise. Since the Steelers have had a losing season, 19 straight from Mike Tomlin. He has been a head coach in Pittsburgh for 19 years, and in every one of those seasons, the Steelers have avoided a losing record. Now, this is a polarizing statistic amongst Steelers fans because many Steelers fans will immediately say, yeah, but the Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. So you get this sort of back and forth between Steeler fans about Tomlin. He's a unbelievably successful coach who's been to 2 Super Bowls, won 1, has never had a losing season. This may be an even better statistic than the 19 straight years without a losing season. Mike Tomlin, in his 19 years as head coach in Pittsburgh, and we are talking about hundreds now of football games for which he's been the head coach, has coached exactly 1 game where the Steelers have been eliminated from playoff contention. And that right there will resonate with many fan bases. Like my good friend Wayne Mazzoni, my college roommate, who's a lifelong Jets fan, who will say, I would trade just about anything to be that competitive. Because every year the Jets play multiple games where they've been eliminated from playoff contention. Many years, like this year, they're eliminated around like week 10, week 11. And then you're just playing out the string. But on the other hand, many other Steelers fans will say, no playoff wins since 2016. Those Super Bowl teams were basically Bill Cowher's teams that Tomlin inherited. The message has grown stale. The scheme has grown stale. It's time for a change. So very polarizing, but whatever side of it you're on, hats off, man. 19 straight years without a losing season to Mike Tomlin. Game ball number 3, Trevor Lawrence playing some sneaky good football in Jacksonville. The Jaguars with a resounding win. They go into Denver and beat the red hot Broncos, winners of 10 straight, number 1 seed in the AFC. A convincing 34-20 win over Denver. Lawrence goes 23 out of 36 for 279 yards with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Plays a really good game. New head coach Liam Cohen got Trevor Lawrence playing some really good football. I think we forget how good Trevor Lawrence was coming out of college. He was the quarterback for some of those great Dabo Swinney, Clemson teams, Heisman Trophy winner. Looked like he was chiseled out of a quarterback block of granite. The perfect hair, the perfect stature, 6'6", lean, muscular, athletic, big arm, mobile. Got off to a great start his first couple of years in the NFL and then really kind of hit a wall and regressed. Had a 4-13 season in there. Had a season where I think he was second in the NFL in interceptions. And you just kind of forgot about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, there were some people that were like, hey, get him out of there, man. Jacksonville should move on. But it really is a testament to coaching and how much the chemistry between a head coach / coordinator and their quarterback matters. You get the right quarterback with the right guy, like Sam Darnold up in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell, like Brock Purdy out in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan. And now like Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville with Liam Cohen, a guy's career can take a completely different turn. Trevor Lawrence is back. The Jags are 11-4 in the driver's seat to win the AFC South. And they pulled off a huge upset in Denver yesterday. Speaking of quarterbacks whose careers have been resurrected, game ball number 4. And before I tell you who it goes to, let me throw out this trivia question. Here's your trivia question. See if you can answer this. What NFL quarterback leads the league in game-winning fourth quarter comebacks since 2023? What NFL quarterback has the most fourth quarter comebacks, meaning games in which his team trailed at some point in the fourth quarter and he was able to rally them to victory? Who do you got? Who do you got? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to assume most people will get this wrong because the answer, maybe I gave you a hint by the lead in where I said another quarterback whose career has been resurrected. Maybe I gave you a hint that will help you get the correct answer, which is Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers. Game ball. Bryce Young for leading the Panthers to a fourth quarter comeback that resulted in a 23-20 win over Tampa Bay. Carolina now 8-7 and in first place in the NFC South heading into the final 2 weeks of the season. No sure bet that they're going to win it because they're now one game up on Tampa, but they have to play Seattle next week while Tampa plays a Miami team that seems to have kind of packed it in. And if Carolina loses to Seattle and Tampa beats Miami, then you'll get another showdown between these two teams in week 18. A Carolina-Tampa game for all the marbles in week 18. So Carolina's got some work to do before they can hang a banner for winning the division. But Bryce Young has really revitalized his career under Dave Canales. Remember, Bryce Young was, by most accounts, a huge bust. I mean, he got benched for Andy Dalton his rookie year. He struggled to hold on to the starting job even his second year. And then they made the big change and they brought in Dave Canales. In the last 2 years, man, Bryce Young's pretty good, especially when it matters. More game-winning drives in the fourth quarter than any QB in the league. 63.5 completion percentage, 21 touchdowns against 9 interceptions this year. None of those numbers are mind-blowing, but he's playing solid football, and he's got the Carolina Panthers in first place. All right, last one. Let's end the show with this. Let's give a game ball out to what I believe will be the looming playoff madness. Ask yourself this question right now. Who's going to win the AFC and the NFC? I have no idea. It's so awesome to be able to say that because the last couple of years, I think we've had a pretty good idea. Kansas City has just been the team to beat for the last 6 years in the AFC. Philly has been on top in the NFC, but San Francisco was pretty dominant for a couple of years there. They've kind of alternated, going back and forth between having a dominant season. But for the last couple of years in the NFL, there was a dominant team in each conference that you felt was a pretty sure bet to win it all. This year, I got no idea who's coming out of either conference. The AFC is particularly crazy. Denver and New England both at 12-3, but neither one's really done it before. So there's big questions about both teams. Jacksonville, as I mentioned, 11-4. The Chargers playing really good football, 11-4. Buffalo just kind of quietly looming. Almost got knocked off in what would have been a huge upset on Sunday by the Cleveland Browns, but pulled it out. They're 11-4. Houston's 10-5. They've won 7 in a row. They're the hottest team in the AFC right now. The Steelers, 9-6. I don't think they're given a big chance to win the conference, but they're playing their best football of the season right now. And over in the NFC, is it Seattle? Is it Chicago? The Rams? San Fran? Philly still in the picture? Who's going to win either conference? I have no idea. And that makes this tremendously exciting. Game ball to the looming playoff madness. What a year it's been. Been a phenomenal football season. Happy to be able to talk about it with all of you. All right. That's our Monday morning game ball show. Excuse me. We are off on Wednesday. It's Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, man. Not doing a show on Christmas Eve. Go out, have fun with your family, celebrate the holidays. We'll get back at you on Friday. Until then, hope it's a wonderful holiday for all of you. Hope Santa's good to you. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy the time of year, exciting time of year. Catch you all soon. Have a great day, everybody.